בשם השם נעשה ונצליח, מועדים לשמחה, שיעור תורה. ברוכים הבאים, ברוך השם. We're here in Chol HaMoed Pesach, 5780, 2020 for the Goyim. And continuing, Baruch Hashem, B'siyata Dishmaya, all of our shiurim. We're going to continue the series we started recently about the Ashkafa Yehudit, the Jewish ideology, and really what we're supposed to think. When you learn about this topic, sometimes it could initially get you down because you realize how far you are from what we're supposed to be. But at the same token, this is the same case with anything in life that you try to aspire for. If you ever, other things in life, you aspire to do something good, whether it be business or it be anything else, you read, let's say, about the success stories, you realize you're very, very far away from where where you want to be. But don't let the Yetzer Hara fool you into thinking that way, because generally speaking, if you want a success, you want to read about success, you want to learn about success, because you have to know what to aspire to be. Today, Be'ezrat Hashem, the shiur will be for a refuah shlema for Levana bat Sarah, Rabbanit Sarah bat Shulamit, Rav Ephraim ben Rabbanit Sarah bat Anat, Rav Ephraim ben Shulamit, David ben Esriya, Doris bat Jora, Dvora bat Mercedes, Esther bat Tzipora, and all of Am Yisrael Be'ezrat Hashem will have refuah shlema, refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf. The situation in the world today obviously is stranger than ever, to say, I guess is an interesting way of describing it, because if you look around, it's you have a mixed reaction to what's going on. On one end, you see a large part of people are reacting to the coronavirus and the horrific situation at hand with massive hysteria. People are simply panicking, some for the right reason, some for the wrong reason. You're seeing people, whether it be government officials or it be regular individuals, people are just simply panicking. But then it could be literally right next to them, and even in the same house, the next person is acting like everything's okay. Like there's really nothing to be afraid of. Everything's okay. Okay, there's risks out there, but okay, there's always risks. And it's strange, to say the least, because we've never seen in our lifetime such a mixed reaction to anything. I walked around with my kids over the last few days, and there's cars on the road, and you see people inside their own cars wearing masks, and they're by themselves. It's not like they're with somebody and they're afraid of the other person. No, they're actually inside their own car and they're wearing a mask. Like, if you can't be safe in your own car, don't leave the house. But then you see people walking around the streets, forget the mask, they don't wear clothes. It's very strange. And you see how there's such a different reaction between the two people. One guy's, you can say, oh yeah, but he's a doctor. Okay, but if he's a doctor, then he should also have the brain cells to know to wear the mask when he's leaving the car, not inside the car. If you need the mask inside the car, then it's too dangerous. At the same token, you're seeing that the numbers are increasing in the United States disproportionately to the rest of the world. Last count, there was over 500,000 people in the United States diagnosed, Hashem Yishmo, with this virus. But that's only because it's 500,000, only because those are the amount of people that were diagnosed. with it. It doesn't mean that that's the amount of people that actually have it. One expert said that whatever number they post online, multiply by 11, which, you're talking about 5.5 million people actually have this virus, according to that expert. And the number is approaching 2 million people worldwide. But anyone that is going to use their own logic, or perhaps knows a few people that live outside of his house, knows that 2 million is a lie. And the reason why is because that there's, in other countries, they're not reporting the numbers the same way that they're reporting in the US. They're not reporting the numbers the same way that they're reporting in the Israel. In some cases, they're not reporting the numbers. For example, my close contacts in India are telling me that they're shutting down the country, and they're not expecting people to leave their house. They're forbidding anyone from leaving their house for another month. Now, but if you look at the statistics and how many people are infected in India, it looks like, wow, the virus didn't even hit it there. There's 1,000 people sick. Why is the whole country shut down with 1,000 people being sick? That's because it's a lie. My contacts in India are telling me there are millions of people there sick. Millions. Because their leader pretty much reacted in a way that was the opposite of what the rest of the world did. Acted like everything was great and nothing's going to hurt them, and they could worship their false gods in order to solve this problem by making noise in the middle of the night or lighting a candle, all types of witchcraft that they have. And until he realized, it's not working, and there are millions of people sick. So now they're going from one extreme to the other, and they're not letting anyone leave the house, even including to go buy food. And if you want to buy food, you have to buy, you have to pay 10 times the price. So if it costs you a piece of bread, costs you 50 cents, that's going to cost you $5. Problem is, not only did income not go up, income went down for everybody. So how are you going to afford food? In the US, unfortunately, the price gouging is happening everywhere also. My Rabbanit showed me today that at Publix, someone did a compare. An apple before the virus was less than $1. Now it's $6 for an apple. For an apple, it's going to cost you just $6. So this leads me logically to this conclusion, which I mentioned to you last week, which is that whether they are going to admit it on their own, that there is going to be no cure to this virus anytime soon, or they're going to be forced to admit it, one way or the other, the solution that they have right now is not going to last much longer. Now there's a expert that came out, one of the people that's actually working on the virus, on a cure for it. He says, and a vaccine. He says this, public statements that they're making, that they're going to come up with some type of vaccine, new vaccine within the next few months, or some type of a cure for it within the next couple of years. He says that's fairy tales. He's a guy that actually supposedly he is one of the experts of the last big virus, which was SARS. He's supposed to be part of the team that came up with something for it. Again, don't quote me on these things. This is just something that I saw. Now, he's saying that historically speaking, and based on just his own expertise, if they come up with a cure within 5 years, it'll be a miracle. He says usually it takes 20 years to come up with a cure. So we're back to what we said in the movie that was published today, Baruch Hashem, by Be'ezrat Hashem, a short movie that gave me chizuk. In the beginning of the movie, it says that there's no cure that's going to be found by a human being for this virus. No cure. And there's not going to be a cure. What's the cure? Tshuva is a cure. Tshuva is a cure. Problem is, not everybody wants to take this cure. They want to pay for one with money. So Hashem's going to make them pay with money, but just different ways. He doesn't need their money, so he's just going to take money from people until they wake up. And the market crash that's going to come, and the economic crisis that's going to come, far beyond what's happened so far, is going to be part of it. But more so, it's going to be a situation where you're going to have people taking things into their own hands, which initially could cause mayhem. So, what's my rationale say? That, and they're talking about it also in Eretz Yisrael, and I spoke about it with my Rav today. He agrees that this current solution that they have, which is pretty much just keeping everybody like little lab rats inside until this thing goes away, is not going to last very long. And the reason why is because right now there's this irrational fear of this virus, which again, of course, there are people dying, there are people sick. The former Rishon LeZion just died a few hours ago. Hashem Yishmor v'Yatzil. It's the problem is there. It's not like a fairy tale. It's not like some people, it's a conspiracy. No one, it's happening. It's bad. It's not a good situation. Does it really warrant the type of reaction? I don't know. But what I do know is that keeping everybody inside like lab rats is not going to work very much longer. And the reason why is because everyone eventually is going to do a kal vachomer, a needless to say, an accounting in their head, and say, okay, listen, not everybody that goes outside gets sick, and not everybody that gets sick dies. So even if I go outside, and even if somebody gets the infected, it's not guaranteed that he's going to die. Some people get it, and then there's nothing happens to them. Nothing at all. They don't even go to the hospital. I have a few people that I know. The whole family got it. Baruch Hashem, nothing. Shtabach Shemo. And may continue staying that way. Several people. They got it. Nothing changed. They got diagnosed with it. Confirmed. Yeah, you have it. Yeah, but you feel okay. Oh, Baruch Hashem, you feel okay. We don't know why you feel okay. And there's a bunch of cases like that. So, not everybody that goes outside gets infected. And even in the ones that get infected, not everybody dies. And even the ones that get infected and get sick, again, they don't die. And people are going to do this accounting in their head. But on the other hand, after not working for 2 months, I'm out of money. I saved up enough money to live, let's say, for a month, 2 months. If you're middle class, 2 months. Maybe 3. If you have a business, 0. Why? If you're a business owner, there's no such thing as saving money. You're living month to month as a business owner. Everybody thinks there's the glory of the business owner. The glory of the business owner died. Why? Business closed, the bills continued. So you got to continue paying the bills. So the business owners are going to be the first ones to fall. And then the employees that depended paycheck to paycheck, they saved up enough money for 1, 2, 3 months. After that, they ran out of money. And they also ran out of food that they spent a bunch of money on for the last few months. All the food gatherers, they got all this food. They ran out of food also because you eat it. It doesn't stay forever, the food. So what happens then? He's going to say, okay, well, hold on a second. If I go outside, I may or may not get it. And if I get it, I may or may not get sick. And if I get sick, I may or may not die. But if I stay home, for sure I'm going to die. Why? I'm not going to starve to death. I'm just going to starve to death. I'm not going to have food. And that's when people are simply going to start walking out of their houses without masks, and it won't make a difference. They're just going to go outside. Why? They got to go to work. They got to go make money. And that's pretty much my opinion. That's what's going to happen very soon. Month, 2 months max, probably sooner. Because the economic state is built in such a way, the economic system I should say, is built in such a way that people have built for themselves a way of life where they have put the carrot in front of themselves. And they're constantly chasing it their whole life. And they cannot just look at the carrot for 3 months without doing anything about it. They have to do something. They have to get up. Why? They have to eat. They have to eat. So what's going to be at that point? Hopefully we've done enough tshuva to make Hashem have mercy on us and it doesn't get worse and more people get sick and so on. If we don't, then the other shoe is going to drop. And whatever has happened till now, Hashem Yishmor, may get much worse. But I don't believe anyone that's waiting for some cure, anyone that's reading up on all of these papers that people are publishing left and right about this guy's got a cure and that guy's got a cure, and if you do this and if you do that and if you jump up and down, if you turn around and you do the hokey pokey and maybe you're going to get a cure, all that stuff, you're wasting your time. Why? You have an opportunity to cure yourself. What is it? It's tshuva. Tshuva means you change your life and start looking at what instructions that HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you, whether Jew or Gentile, and start living accordingly. If you're a Jew, that means you have to start keeping Shabbat, keeping kosher, keeping family purity, talat mishpacha, watching your brit, not wasting seed. You have to learn Torah every day, not all day, not 24 hours a day like people make it think. No, just learn for an hour, 2 hours a day just to know how to be a Jew. If you could do more, do more. You have to do your business kosher. Oh wait, but my business is already not kosher. Oh, it's not kosher, shut it down. Yeah, but I'm going to lose all my money. It's better you lose your money than Olam Haba. The reality is, Rabotai, is that if you are still living in La La Land thinking that some doctor or some chemist or some guy with a high IQ is going to solve the current epidemic, it's you're simply living an illusion, and you're going to be let down in a very, very big way. On the other hand, the people that are getting stronger with tshuva, the people that are getting stronger with their connection to Hashem, from my understanding of how I see things, and the people that are in touch with me every day, Baruch Hashem, they're all in very good shape, both physically and mentally. Now, because there's a very high need for tshuva, Team Hashem is working around the clock to try to produce as much material as possible to reach everyone. So Baruch Hashem, if anyone, a few people have noticed, we've been producing a lot of material lately. We came out with Baruch Hashem with the Agadah for Pesach, first time in our history. He came up with Agadah. A few Talmidei Chachamim that I know was so surprised, like, when do you guys have time to sleep? I said, no, that we'll do eventually. In Olam Haba, maybe we'll do that. No one sleeps. People don't ask me anymore, when do I sleep? They ask me, where's everybody else on the team sleeps? Why? Because forget about you. You all we gave up on. What about everybody else? Anybody else sleep? No, everybody's a vampire. Nobody sleeps. Why? Gotta work, gotta produce stuff. So we came up with Agadat Pesach. Anyone that read the commentary at the end or in the beginning or both, there's a lot of interesting things there, good stories, good insights, sgulot and so on. So we came up with the Agadah Pesach. We came out with a bunch of different movies, short films that used to take us months to produce one at a time. Baruch Hashem, we're on pace to do almost one a week, at least 3 a month. Now, Baruch Hashem, and each one is better than the next. They're getting stronger and stronger, they're getting better and better, they're getting clearer and clearer. Some things that we said recently, some things that we said a long time ago are being taken into and put on film with different production that's giving the right people the chizuk. But another thing that we came up with today was also we launched a few more channels for our brothers around the world. I think it was last week we launched our Spanish YouTube channel and Facebook page, where different volunteers, God bless them, they took their time, which I can tell you from my own personal experience, putting subtitles on movies or on lectures is a tedious nightmare. It takes a million years. I don't know how they did it. I know when I was working on it for Hebrew, and I wasn't even doing the whole thing. I was just doing the editing. The editing. Forget about the person that did the actual thing. I don't know how they did it in one lifetime. The editing of the Hebrew, of my personal movie, took me like 40, 50 hours. Just the editing, not the actual writing itself. And you have these tzaddikim and tzaddikot doing it in different languages. It's unbelievable to me. And not just the movie, in different things, different movies. Different shiurim, different short clips. So I believe it was about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we launched a Spanish channel. So Baruch Hashem, anyone that is speaks Spanish as a first language, knows people that speak Spanish as a first language, get on the WhatsApp group, get on the Facebook group that's specifically for that, because you'll have different shiurim that have that, and it's the shiurim, it's me speaking with the subtitles on the bottom, and they've done a very, very good job doing it. But if that wasn't enough, we have tzaddikim in other languages also. Today we launched Portuguese. Portuguese channel, Portuguese Facebook page, and also German, and what else was there? There's Korean is coming, Bezat Hashem, hopefully tomorrow. Korean, Yishtabach Shemo La'ad, Korean. Then we have French. French was launched today. A French channel. French, Korean, German, Portuguese, Spanish, and I'm forgetting one, I think. Portuguese, French, German, Korean, Spanish. If I remember it, I'll tell you. So another handful of channels in different languages. And also they're translating some of the other material we have. Like, for example, if you are a Jew, you want to do the blessing of Asher Yatzal. The blessing that I keep telling you guys, the Chazal tell us this is the Zgula, this is the cure. This is a special cure for any health issue. We published one already for the last couple of years. We've given out tens of thousands of copies for free of this poster. We have one side is Ashkenazi, one side is a Sephardi Nusach, in a very nice plastic poster. And we've literally sent this out to all four corners of the world. We just sent another 900 of them to Canada. For anyone that wants to give out 100 or 200 to their community, let us know. We still have a few left. So this specific zgula of saying the blessing of Asher Yatzal is written in the books by many people, whether it be the Chafetz Chaim, or it be the Prophet Job, or Rav Zavichi. Many Chachamim have discussed the significance of saying Asher Yatzal not by memory, but rather by actually reading it, because you have much more focus. And so anyway, one of the few of the tzaddikim translated this Asher Yatzal poster into their language. So it's now in German and also in Spanish. You can download it for free on our website and print it. We don't have it printed on a poster, but you could download it and print it, hang it on your wall, and have it next to your bathroom. Because when you relieve yourself as many times as necessary throughout the day, the very least you can do is thank Hashem that your body works. And I promise you, the people that are sick or have been sick know how valuable that ability is. And that's actually one of the things that the Chazon Ish discusses in today's shiur, where if we simply understood the mechanics of our body, the word atheism would become somewhat of a curse to us. The notion of lack of emunah would become an embarrassment to us if we just understood the mechanics of our body. So we're trying to publicize the shiurim into all languages, just as HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu to translate the Torah into 70 languages. If you guys remember, in the Sefer Dvarim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu specifically to inscribe and engrave the Torah on stones, on special stones, in 70 languages. Why 70 languages? What? Everybody over there spoke Hebrew. Everybody over there spoke Hebrew. What are you going to inscribe it for? For who? He said for the next generations. Next generations could be a bunch of goyim that also need to learn Torah, but also, as HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows the past, present, and future, it could also be a bunch of Jews that are going to be in the four corners of the world. And as you know right now, the Jews are literally in the four corners of the world. There's not a corner in the world that you're not going to find Jews. In some places more, in some places less, but nonetheless you're always going to find Jews everywhere. Whether it be in India, or in China, or in Australia, or in America, or Canada, or Brazil, or Chile, or Uruguay, Korea, anyway, literally you could find Jews in every corner in the world. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says those Jews have to thank me, have to glorify my name, have to serve me regardless of which corner in the world they are in. There are literally millions of Jews that are not even on the charts in Africa right now as we speak. There's a place called Biafra, and it's also in Nigeria. Different places where there's literally millions of Jews there. One of the times we sent packages over there with a bunch of our CDs and Asher Yitzar posters and so on. It was a very big investment for us. And we sent it because the guy that was over there, Tzaddik that was over there, says, yeah, I'm going to give it to my local community. He says, I have 5 synagogues in Nigeria. I didn't even know there's any Jews in Nigeria. So as soon as it was published, somebody from there contacted me. He goes, hi, Rabbi Reuven, listen, can you send us some stuff too? I said, I just made a huge investment, sent it over there. No one's paying for this stuff. Hashem is paying for it. Usually the ones that want to be tzaddikim don't have money. It goes, two and two go together. So I said, I don't have them. I sent already. I sent a bunch of stuff over there. He said, yeah, but it's not enough. What do you mean it's not enough? I sent you guys thousands of dollars worth of stuff. He says, listen, there's over 100 synagogues just here in this area. I said, 100 synagogues with people? 100 synagogues? I didn't even know there's any Jews in Nigeria. He says, there's over 100 synagogues there. Shtabach Shemolad. Now, when people say, yeah, there's 15, 20 million Jews in the world, they're not counting the people in Biafra and in Nigeria. They're not counting them. They don't even know they're there. There are literally Jews, Ishtabach Shemolad, in the 4 corners of the world. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give everybody a chance. So we have to do our job. Our job is to continue publishing more and more emet, more and more Torah, and try our best to find kind hearts that are willing to make the sacrifice, whether it be monetary sacrifice or time or skill, to translate the shulim, publicize the shulim, share the videos everywhere they possibly can, in order to get more and more people to learn it. Because as you obviously know, the world is not the same. Most likely it won't return to be what it was before this virus. I don't necessarily think it's the end of the world, but surely people are going to, some people at least, are going to act differently. Some even say that handshakes are going to be frowned upon moving forward. It's become a, very normal behavior that when you meet somebody, you shake their hand. People say now that after this virus thing is over with, people are going to frown upon handshakes because of what's happened. And the funny thing is, I actually heard from Arav Shani Sheikhye that one of the Chachamim, I don't remember the name, one of the Chachamim says that handshakes is inappropriate anyway. Doesn't think it's appropriate. For men and women, obviously men are not allowed to shake hands with women. Even for the ones that say there's an heter, there's a leniency, if it's a position of power, in reality, everybody knows you shouldn't do it. Men and women shouldn't do it, handshakes. But men and men, some of the Chachamim are of the opinion, not all of them, some of the Chachamim are of the opinion you shouldn't do it at all. Why? For what? What purpose? And you'll see many times, I was actually a little bit surprised at this. When I went to Yerushalayim years ago, and we were in a Alanov over there, and I met some people, and they wouldn't shake hands. Like, not that they wouldn't do it if you shook their hand, it was unusual to them. What do you want? Like, you're American, American Jew, and the guy, oh, okay, yeah, you shake your hand, give you like a 5. It's almost like he's giving you a 5, like, okay. Over there, if you're Sephardic, they give you like a chibuk, give you a nice hug or something. What's the shaking hand thing? It's very Americanish. But the point is, some of the Chachamim are of the opinion it shouldn't be done at all. Funny story, side story. The reason why you're not allowed to, a man is not allowed to shake a woman's hand is in case that handshake will give him thoughts of the woman and so on. the man's mind doesn't work the same as the woman's mind. As much as the woman wants the man's mind to work the same, it's never going to work the same. It's just never going to be. She looks at a guy, thinks about his personality. He looks at her, and he looks at a piece of meat. That's just the way it is. That's just the reality. It doesn't matter who, what, when, and how. That's just the way it is. Women will never understand that. Men, it is what it is. Now, Chachamim knew this. Chachamim knew this. Says, you're not allowed to touch a woman. In fact, you're not even allowed to stare at her if she's not your wife. You have to watch your eyes. So, but there is a leniency if she's very unattractive and she happens to be in a position of power where if you don't shake her hand, it could create problems. So there's a famous story about Rabbi Ovadia alav hashalom. Rabbi Ovadia, one time he got an award, early on. He got an award for his book, for his sefer, which was a miracle of its own, how a Zionist state would give an award to a rabbi for his book. So anyway, so they wanted to honor him for this book, of how much wisdom was in this book, in his Sfarim. It was unbelievable. And they invited him to this, kenes. What is it, kenes? Kenes is like a symposium or some type of event to honor him. And Golda Meir, which was the prime minister at the time, Shimra Shaim Yarkav, she came to Rav Ovadia to shake his hand, and he didn't shake her hand. No, I don't shake hand to a woman. She got really offended. So when Rav Ovadia reached out to shake the hand of the man that was there, I forget who it was, as a comeback, because he was also a Zionist zift. Yeah, he said, no, I don't shake hands. I don't shake hands with rabbis. Okay, no shake hands. He went on stage. So now other people saw this. Talmidim saw this, and it was embarrassment. For this, people don't understand Torah. They don't realize he's doing them a favor by not shaking their hand. But anyway, after they said, Kvod Rav, I don't understand. Isn't there Chachamim that say that there's an eter, that there's leniency in regards to shaking the hand of a woman, if she's in a position of power? And he says, listen, even if there's an eter of someone in a position of power, and even if there's an eter for a really, really ugly woman like her, I'm still not going to shake a hand. He says, there's no chance in the world that I could ever get a thought, inappropriate thought of that ugly woman. I'm still not going to shake a hand. Still not going to shake a hand. Needless to say, when you're in business and there's it's normal conduct. So anyway, Rabotai, that's the mind of a Jew. That's the mind of a Jew that loves the Kadosh Baruch Hu and knows that there's a time to be stringent, there's a time to be lenient, there's a time to do this, there's a time to do that. Our goal, Rabotai, is to get to that mindset, or at the very least, try our best to get there. Now, the Chazon Ish, last week, or the last time we did a shiur about this, the first two parts of this series, he told us about the body, how the body is if you want to refine yourself, first and foremost, you have to think about your body and understand that if you are aspiring to refine your character traits, you have to be free of any bodily desire. Meaning you cannot be aroused, angry, sad, depressed, or any of these types of extreme emotions and think that you're going to be able to elevate yourself spiritually. Your body has to be free of these bodily desires at that moment. Now, of course, there's a time to be aroused when you're with your wife, when you're with your husband. Surely that's appropriate time. If you're not at that time, there's something wrong. As men, are not as difficult. Women are much more difficult, which is actually a problem of its own. Maybe one day we'll have to do a second shiur about to explain to people that intimacy in a Jewish relationship is extremely important. Without it, Rabotai, a Jewish marriage cannot be healthy. It cannot be healthy. Sometimes you have people that are simply become roommates. They live together, they eat together, they sleep in the same bed together, but nothing. No feelings whatsoever. And it's a nightmare to live in, but they don't want to get divorced because of the kids, because of the embarrassment, because of the community. Now the truth is, Judaism also doesn't want them to get divorced, but it doesn't want them to stay married that way either. And it's very, very important to know that there's a time and place that you have to act like a husband and wife. Now, if men understood that the mind of a woman is different, and women understood that the mind of a man is different, and acted accordingly, life would be much simpler. The problem is that everyone compares the other part, the other gender, to each other, to themselves. And that's a problem. The guy is expecting the wife to act like him. So he talks to her like, hey, what's up? What's going on? What'd you do today? Oh, okay. Talk to you later. No, I love you. No moochie moochie. No little hug. No little nothing. No romance. No nothing. No flower. Last flower you got was for the wedding. 20 years ago. Well, I got her a flower. She had one. I got her one already. She has one. It died 20 years ago. Like the love in your relationship died. Nothing. No romance. He doesn't understand a woman needs romance. She needs it. He does also, but she needs it even more. He's not romantic, the relationship's not going to go anywhere. No, we're good. No, we're good. On the other hand, the woman thinks that the guy could be her girlfriend, and she could talk his ear off until he's blue in his face. Not going to work. What? If he's talking so much, most likely he's homosexual. If he doesn't want to stop talking, most likely he became your girlfriend. Guys are not talkative. Unless they have a problem, like me. You don't stop talking. Hashem gave you a gift of talking. But generally speaking, Rabotai Be'emet, seriously, guys are not going to talk about the same things as women. It's just not going to work. That's not the way it is. Now, a guy, you can get his attention with different things. And you have to understand that in order for him to be the husband you want him to be, you have to be with him. You have to be with him. Now, even though it's not an obligation on the woman to be with the man, it's actually an obligation for the man to be with the woman. A woman cannot play a Nazi in the bedroom, where she pretty much, it's he didn't say this, he didn't say that, he didn't act perfect the last month. No, I'm not going to talk to him for 6 months. You're a shite. You're a wicked woman. You starve your husband that way, you're a wicked woman. Why? Because, Rabotai Yekarim, you have to understand, a man has different types of physical needs, a woman does also. But for a man, the Gemara says, if his wife raises his children and keeps him away from sin, meaning the sin of wasting seed, she's considered an Eshet Chayil. She's considered the best woman in the world. Greatest woman in the world. Why? She has to raise kids, make sure they're not becoming avaryanim, become criminals, make sure they learn Torah, make sure they do mitzvot, they respect their parents and so on, and she keeps them away from sin. Those two things. Gemara doesn't say if she cooks, she cleans, she is the best, nothing. She does those two things, she's an Eshet Chayil. Which means what? Means if she doesn't do those two things, she's the opposite of Eshet Chayil. Even though she's not obligated. She's not obligated, like the man. Needless to say, she's not a good woman. She's not a good woman. Why? Because she has to understand he has physical needs. Now it would surprise many women that she actually needs to be with a husband even more than he needs with her, spiritually. Why? Because there's a certain thing that happens spiritually when the man and the woman are together that gives nachat to our soul. Gemara talks about it. Gives nachat to our soul. When they're not together, she's stressed out, she doesn't know what's going on, angry, stingy, all the worst things in the world. So the point is, Rabotai, is that the Torah talked to us about family purity, not just to let us know when not to be together. The Torah is not just about what not to do. It's also to bring light of what to do. There's a time not to be together, and there's a time you have to be together. For example, mikveh night, obligation to be together. Obligation. My Rav told me, he said, listen, you need to know family purity. We learned family purity. I said, yeah, but I asked the question. I said, listen, right now, I give shulim. At the time it was 3 people in a shiur, so it wasn't exactly some big audience. But I said, I don't know, listen, what if like a big rabbi, I don't know, name a big rabbi, has thousands of people, and coming to his shurim, and it happens to be that he scheduled a shiur, 1,000 people are supposed to show up, and happens to be mikveh night. Happens to be mikveh night. So without losing a breath, Rav Ephraim says he has to cancel the shiur. I said, no, hold on a second. I have to ask the question again. Hold on a second, Rabbi. Listen, Rav Ephraim, listen to me. Is Rav Ovadia, biggest rabbi in the world. He doesn't need you to tell him what to do. He knows what to do, right? Rav Ovadia has every one of his lectures 5,000 people, 10,000 people, 20,000 people. We're not talking about little 5 people. We're talking about thousands. Happens to be, he planned it 6 months in advance, right? Happens to be, as the Kadosh Baruch Hu runs the world, 5,000 people are showing up to a place, but it's going to be mikveh night. Which means that by the time he comes back from the shiur, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, she may fall asleep. She may be sleeping already. Without losing a breath. Rav Ephraim says he has to cancel the shiur. No shiur. I said, yeah, but what about the 10,000 people? He goes, let them go somewhere else. But they're waiting. They go, doesn't make a difference. Rishon LeZion, Chilul Hashem. He says, no, Chilul Hashem. Well, don't make mitzvot for me, he told me. Don't start making mitzvot for me. That's how powerful family purity is. To show us it's not just about when not to be together. It's about the power of how important it is to be together on that day. And the Rambam goes into it. He says, a regular Am Haaretz doesn't know much. Every day he has to be with his wife. If he wants to be, she wants to be, they're together, everything's good, every day. Talmid Chacham, someone learns, needs a strength and so on, he could be okay with once or twice a week. It's enough. Shouldn't do it every day. Why? He's not going to have strength. He shouldn't act like an Am Haaretz and so on. But the point is, Rabotai, is that relationship that you have with your wife, that relationship that you would have with your husband is so critical that if people only knew and understood it, there would simply never be a divorce. There would never be guys calling me, texting me, emailing me at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, listen, Rabbi, I need your help. How am I going to stop wasting seed? I said, get married. He goes, I'm married already 15 years. I'm married 20 years. I got 3 kids. I said, how come you're wasting seed? He goes, no, my wife doesn't want to be with me. I said, for what? A week? 2 weeks? Oh, no, I haven't been with her in 6 months. Rabotai, I told her, she's a chilonit, she doesn't believe in God. He goes, no, she has kisui rosh and everything. Kisui rosh. She should cover her face too, become a different religion. What's the matter with you? Rabotai, it's very, very important when it comes to Jewish ideology to know it's not just about what's not allowed. It's about what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. These things are very, very important. Why? Because you're seeing, unfortunately, now that the Jewish world never had a divorce problem, Baruch Hashem. Divorce was a problem that the Goyim had. Whether those Goyim were really Goyim or Jews that acted like Goyim. Secular Jews. Divorce was never really a problem for Jewish people. But now it's becoming a problem. Religious Jews have a problem. He's cheating, she's cheating. Why are you cheating? Why do you need to cheat? If you follow the instructions, every month is Gan Eden. Every month is honeymoon. If you follow the instructions to the T, like it says in Halakha, you don't touch, you don't hug, you don't this when you're not supposed to. And then when you're supposed to, you do. If you followed it to a T, every single month is mamash like the day you got married. But what happens? People, they listen to Manis Friedman. They may listen to Shmuley Boteach. They listen to the guys that wrote books with pornography stars because they want to learn about sexuality from Goyim. Because some Zonah was intimate with as many men as she can count, so Shmuley Boteach wrote a book with her. He figures she's the expert. And so you have people with long beards writing books about this subject and confusing people even more. You don't need to learn these books. It's very simple. Follow halakha. You follow halakha, you'll have the best life, best marriage in history. If the guy watches his eyes, if he watches his mouth, if he learns Torah, if she learns Torah, if they do everything they're supposed to, Rabotai, you will never see one Jewish house with a divorce. Never. You won't even see a house with a fight. That's how beautiful it is. But what happens when we start mixing our own Yetzirah-driven ideology and mix and match it like a shakshuka with the Jewish ideology and call it Jewish? We get confused. So the Chazon Ish is trying to do us a very big chesed. He's trying to elaborate and clarify what does it mean a Jewish ashkafa, a Jewish ideology. What does it mean? So first he started is, listen to me. If you want to elevate your neshama, you have to start getting control of your bodily desires. There's a time and a place for everything. The time and a place for everything. You're allowed at this point, you're not allowed at this point. It may not make sense to you, but it doesn't make a difference. Not everything has to make sense to you. You don't really know how radio waves work, but you still use a phone. You don't know how the x-ray machine works, but if you need to use it, you're going to use it. You don't know how the medicine works, but you're still going to take it if you have to. Stop trying to understand everything. Trust the Chachamim. They understand. Trust the experts. Anyone that tries to understand everything ends up understanding nothing. There's a certain time and place where you just say, you know what, this is what it says, finished. Why? If this genius said it's good, I'm just going to rely on him. Just like you rely on your local doctor, just like you rely on your local pharmacist, just like you rely on a teacher, just like you rely on every other profession. Our sages were geniuses in all aspects. Anyone that learned some of the history about some of our sages and the genius that they had just in their personal lives, things they've achieved, will say, I don't understand, how come this is not known by everyone in the world? People used to call the Chazon Ish in the middle of surgery. The doctor just came out, he said that there is a problem and they have to do one of two options. Option A is to cut over here in the brain. Option B is to cut over here in the brain. The doctors are confused at why we're calling our rabbi, but we needed your help. Kvod Harav. Chazon Ish would tell him, listen, tell your doctor, option A is going to kill him. Option B is going to debilitate him. So both options are no good. I'm going to give you option success. What's option success? He starts giving them step-by-step instructions of what to tell the surgeon, of where to cut in the brain. They come back with instructions, not once, not twice, not three times. They come back with instructions to the surgeon, world-renowned surgeon, said, listen, here's the instructions of what you're supposed to do with my husband, with my father. Here. The surgeons were baffled. It's like, who's this genius? Wow, we never even thought about this. Who came up with this? What doctor? He goes, not doctor. Who is he? It's a rabbi. What medical school did he study in? He never went to school. He never went to school. He didn't go to university. So what do you mean he didn't go to university? How does he know all these? He knows, Torah is in it. Torah talks about everything. Torah talks about everything, Rabotai. Everything. There is a Gemara, there's a Mishnah that discusses different parts of the body in detail in Masechet Ohalot, because they need to know when a person dies, different parts of the body and so on. And it goes into the details and details of the smallest things. The Chachamim investigated everything, looked at everything. There is a Gemara in Masechet Bechorot, page 45a, where there was a Zonah, prostitute, that died, and they investigated her body in order to learn from it. Point is, Rabotai, and this is for halachic purposes, and the point is that the Chachamim investigated everything. They're not telling you this is allowed, this is not allowed from their own common sense. They're not telling you you should do this and not do this because they thought it's a good idea. Our Torah from Sinai, our Torah Akdosha, the Torah that we have today, is a small microcosm of what Torah is really available. And even the microcosm that we have available to us, we're not appreciating enough. Why? Because we think that the doctors and the lawyers and the politicians and the bankers and the Wall Streeters and all of these people, they know more than the rabbis. Why? Because the rabbis seem like, I don't know, they look like they're old and out of fashion. That's a mistake. And one of the things that a person needs to know when he wants to have the right ideology is to know where to get this ideology from and what tools are necessary. So the first tool that the Chazon Ish says is you have to make sure that your bodily desires are not controlling you, but you are controlling them. Then he talked about the significance of one of the body parts, where we call it the eyes, but when we really look into the details of the mechanics of the eye, it baffles the world, especially the people that are in that industry, whether it's from the guys that are making glasses or the people that are doing eye surgery and so on. It baffles people how this little balloon has literally endless mechanics that's beyond the scope of our intellect. We cannot understand it. To understand what we're talking about here, it's easier to solve all of your problems that you have ever had and you will ever have, and give you $100,000 a month, cash, more than most people need in their life. $100,000 a month forever. Also, put the adjusted for inflation too. 100,000 maybe in a few years will be worth $5, but let's say 100,000 or the equivalent permanently, a month. Solve all your problems. It's easier to do that than to create one cell in the human body. It's easier to do that than to understand the true significance of a single DNA. Needless to say, it's easier to do that than to understand the beauty of your eye and how complicated it is, how it works. So the Chazon Ish goes further and talks about other body parts now. In first chapter, section 2, he says, what good is it if the eye can see, but this creation known as man is without the power of movement? Meaning that if this person only had, eye, but he couldn't walk around, see things and so on, what's the point of this eye? Any normal person thinks about this. Yeah, of course. So we assumed that if he has an eye, he can move other place. But no, there are certain people, Hashem Yerachem, they have an eye, they can see, but they can't do other things. So now, the Chazon Ish says that we were under the assumption that we have an eye, we're going to move. But it's a mistake. There's a certain tzaddik that taught me a lot of musar. I never met him. I never talked to him. I wish I could. but I saw a short video of him that taught me enough musar that if I could apply this to my life every day, my life will be better for it. In fact, if everyone could apply it to their life every day, it would change their life drastically. This tzaddik, several years ago, he got a sickness that is simply not only not curable, but it deteriorates day after day. And he started losing control of his muscles, of his entire body, and he simply had no control of his body. He got to the point where he could not move anything in his body other than his eyes. Now, all of you right now listening to this feel bad for him. I promise you, he feels bad for you. Why does he feel bad for you? Because he was at the Siyum HaShas several months ago, because he completed the Shas. He completed the Shas Gemara. How? With his eyes. That's all he needs. They have a special computer connected that he has a chavruta he learns with and he argues with, and all he does all day, all night is learn Gemara. And he completed the Shas, the Daf Yomi Shas. How many people can say that they've completed the Shas? Unfortunately, not many. Why? They have excuses. Oh, I'm working. Oh, I'm tired. Oh, I got bills. Oh, I got stresses. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, it's too this. Oh, it's too that. Do you have more problems than him? He has eyes. And he completed the Shas. He made a promise. He's going to complete the Shas. And his own wife and his own kids are testifying to this themselves. They're saying, listen, the only reason he is alive right now is because he does not stop studying Torah. Now, the Gemara tells us that everyone is going to go up to Shamayim, and all of their excuses are going to be put on. Okay, what did you have? How come you didn't complete the Shas? How come you didn't learn Torah? What do you have? Oh, one guy's going to say, oh, I was really beautiful. I was really beautiful. All the girls came after me. Gemara says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring him Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik was beautiful. He was so beautiful, his skin was shining. Shining. When he would walk in the streets, when the Paro made him the viceroy, the women threw their underwear at him. Please marry me, marry me. Married women, single women, everybody. Potiphar's wife, people think she was some type of horrible, I don't know, troll or something. The Gemara says she was one of the 4 most beautiful women that ever lived. Meaning, the most beautiful woman in the world today looks like a monkey with hair on his face next to Potiphar's wife. And she was willing to die just to be with Yosef one time. His skin was shining, but he never sinned. Kadosh Baruch Hu is going to say to you, you're more beautiful than Yosef? Let's bring Yosef over here, let's see you. You look like a troll next to him. You look like you have 5 heads. They're going to show you Yosef HaTzadik, you're going to get embarrassed. You're going to want to bury yourself in the hole. Hashem, put him in kafakela, put him in gay. No, forget it, Hashem. Forget I even said it. I'm embarrassed for the excuse that I had. They're going to show you Yosef HaTzadik, you're going to look like a monster. They're going to say, oh, wait, hold on a second. I didn't have any money. Hashem, I'm going to study Torah. I don't have money. I had to work. They're going to bring you Hillel. Hillel every day would go into the woods, cut a piece of wood, sell it for one coin, give half of it to his family to eat, half of it to pay for the Bet Midrash, so he could learn Torah for the day with Shmaya Naftalion. One day, it was snowing, he couldn't cut the wood, he came to the Bet Midrash, and the bouncer over there says, I'm sorry, Hillel, you cannot go inside, you have no money. In those days you had to pay. Not like today, the people you have to pay people to come to the shul Torah. Those that you have to pay the Bet Midrash. No $15 over there. You have to pay $15 more. Anyway, not allowed. He says, "What do you mean not allowed?" Okay, not allowed. Not allowed to go inside. No problem. I stopped to learn Torah. So what do? He climbed the roof. He climbed the roof of the Bet Midrash to listen to the shiur of Shmaya and Naftalion as rabbis through the glass. He was so into the shiur, the snow is falling on him to the extent where it covered him completely. The next day was Shabbat. Shmaya and Naftalion arrive at the Bet Midrash, and usually there's the light of the day, going into the place from the dome, the glass dome. But he said there's no light, so they looked up and they said, "Oh, that looks like a body." They ran up, they climbed the roof, dug him up, saw him. They violated Shabbat. They lit fire to put him to bring him back to life. He said it's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to violate Shabbat for such a tzaddik. Tell him, why are you on the roof? Tell him, learning your Torah. He says, from now on, you learn Torah with us. Became Gdol Ador. Became the biggest rabbi in the world. Bet Shammai, Bet Hillel, that's Hillel. You had money problems like him. Did you climb a roof? You climbed the roof with the snow? Oh no, as soon as you got a little tired, you stopped studying. As soon as the flat tire, 2 weeks ago, you stopped studying for 2 more weeks. Why? You had trauma. So they're going to bring somebody that had no money, or somebody that had too much money, all types of money. Then they're going to say, hold on a second. No, Rabbi, listen, I didn't have money problems as far as no money. I had too much money. I had businesses, jewelry shop, this shop, that shop, selling masks, selling guns, Walmart. I had too much money. I was giving money to the yeshivot, Rabbi. Give money to the yeshivot. It's good, no? You're still obligated to learn Torah. Who has time to learn Torah from making all this money? In Shamayim Rabotai, they're going to bring him Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was Kodesh Kodashim, could revive the dead with his Kedusha. He was the richest man in the land. But not rich like today. What do you have? $1 billion? Yeah, you're like an employee for him. He had cities. He owned cities. He had hundreds of boats. Hundreds. He had employees in every country. Warren Buffett would be like a newspaper boy for him. That's how much money he had. And he still learned Torah day and night and became one of the Gdolei Ador. I tell you, you had more money than him. What did you have? Well, you had a little company, a couple $1 million. Maybe you could clean his bathroom with your couple of $1 million. They're going to bring everybody. And then they're going to say, no, somebody was sick. Somebody was sick. Oh, they didn't feel good. Oh, what happened? Your back hurt, your leg hurts, your head hurts, your eyes hurt, your head hurts. What? Somebody hurts? Okay, they're going to bring you this tzaddik. They're going to bring you this tzaddik. They're going to say, look at him. All he had was eyes. And he finished the Shas Gemara. All he had was eyes. That's it. Rabotai, you're going to see this video. We're going to connect this video to this video. You're going to see this video. You're going to start crying about yourself, how much of a loser we all are. Why? He has eyes and he finished the Shas. We have a problem finishing Parashat Shavua. Rabbi, do I really have to study the Parashat 3 times? Or could I just get away with it like once? Rabbi, can I just learn your shulim and that's it? Rabbi, can I play video games while I watch your shul? Rabbi, can I eat dinner while I'm studying? Rabbi, do I have to listen to the whole shiur, or can I just fast forward it 2 times on YouTube? Rabbi, what time does Shabbat come in? Rabbi, is this kosher? The wrapper is open. Yeah, I ate it already, but is it kosher? He had eyes. He has eyes. And he's going to complete the Shas again. Mark my words, he's going to complete the Shas again. We go up to Shamayim, they're going to ask us, what excuse did you have? What excuse? Money? Beauty? What do you have? They're going to make him an example, Rabotai. In our generation, we have this. People always, oh yeah, but all these stories are from a long time ago. You have this story from a few months ago. I saw this, I started crying. I wasn't crying for him, I was crying for myself. I said, what a loser. Why? Rabotai, look at this. Oh, no, you know a lot. I know a lot. When you know you don't know. The whole key is not amount of knowledge. The whole key is the toil, how he toiled for it. I don't care how much he knows. I have one guy that learns our shurim. He's in Kolel. I think something like 18 hours a day. 18 hours a day he learns Torah, and he watches my shurim somehow in between. I don't know when. He watches my shurim. I have another guy just told me that he finished just this last year Shas Gemara of Bavli, Yerushalmi, Shulchan Aruch, Tanakh, Midrash Rabbah, and one or two other things I can't remember, all in the last 12 months, since last Pesach. Since last Pesach. And this is not the first time he did it. He does it every year already for a few years. I told him, hold on a second. When do you have time to learn my shurim? Why do you learn my shurim? Because I need to learn Musar. I said, when do you have time? He goes, when I'm making breakfast. What, am I going to just do nothing? I need to learn something. So I'm making breakfast in the morning. He has to eat, right? He's still human. I'm making breakfast in the morning. I'm listening to a shiur. He sent me a picture of him doing a siyum. I said, if I had a siyum like you, I'd have a picture in Madison Square Garden. All of these things. Shtabach Shimo. People know how to utilize their time. People know what it means to be a Jew. It's not a matter of how much you know. The knowledge is gifted to you. People think it's about knowledge. Oh, he knows pages by heart, so he must be... No, it has nothing to do with that. It's all gifts. It's the toil. How hard do you work for that Torah? That's what matters. Not about knowledge. You know the pages by heart. You don't know them by heart. No one cares. Trust me, I promise you, no one cares. Hashem doesn't care either. What does he care about? How hard did you work for it? I don't think there's a human alive that worked harder to learn the Shas than this person that finished the Gemara with his eyes only. And he's going to be put up in the same pedestal, same place as Yosef HaTzadik, as Hillel HaZaken, as Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah in Shamayim. And we can either be winners or losers. That's Jewish ideology when it comes to learning Torah. Now, if you're so focused on your physical desires all day, how are you going to have time to learn? How are you going to have time to learn? All day you want to eat, all day you want this, you're not going to have time to learn. So you have to control them. There's a time and a place to eat. There's a time and a place to be intimate. There's a time and a place to do a lot of things. But again, control them is what the Chazon Ish is trying to tell us. Chazon Ish also ate. Chazon Ish also did whatever he had to do. He was also married. You're not the only one that's married. But that's the key. That's the key. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us these eyes, but what purpose would they serve if all they did was just be there? The Creator noticed, he continues saying, the Creator noticed this as well, and he made man 2 arms, a left one and a right one. Each arm is segmented with many joints, each joint being able to turn for quick and easy use. At the end of each arm, he put separate sticks, 5 on each hand, which we call fingers. Now, we do not think it's a big deal that we have fingers. Why? We're used to them. When you were born, you had them. They didn't grow. They were there when you were born. B'ezrat Hashem. But that wasn't always the case. The Midrash says that until the generation of Noach, people didn't have fingers. People didn't have fingers. They had hands, like you have hands, but it was like a web. That's why, if you look at the Psukim in the Parashat Noach, it says that when Noach was born, says that this is the boy that's going to bring us ease. What ease? What ease is this boy going to bring us? He was the first boy that was born with fingers. And one of the most difficult things of that generation was when they were working, it was very hard for them to work because they didn't have fingers to make tools. So Noach was the first one to actually have fingers. Now, when you think about it, your fingers are a miraculous creation of its own. First and foremost, your fingerprint is unique. That by itself should amaze a person to the extent of no end. Because if you would say 100 people have 100 different types of fingerprints, okay, that makes sense in our head. 1,000 people, 1,000 different types of fingerprints, okay, that makes sense too. Even if you say 100,000, in your mind it works. But once it gets to big numbers, 1 million, 2 million, the human mind can't really think in that type of size. When you don't have God in your life, you already think that if you have a lot, eventually you're going to have something repeated. Statistically speaking. I knew a gambler who was an expert at conning people into making mistakes based on math. He knew math, and other people didn't know. And he would tell them, listen, I bet you as much as you want that in this room there's 2 people that have the same birthday. Just by him walking into the room 2 seconds. Everybody would take on the bet. Why? They're figuring in their head, there are so many dates. You have 12 months. Each month has a 30 days, 28 to 31 days. You have all these days. What's the chances that there's going to be 2 people with the same birthday? Because they're thinking, calculating in their head, no way. How could you even know that if you just walked into the room? I mean, if you spent some time in the room, you got to know everybody. Maybe you have a really good memory. You asked everybody their birthdays, and you remember it. Yeah, you found 2 people that have the same birthday. Yeah, but you walked into the room. How did you know it? And he would win the bet every single time, never failed. I met the guy, he was like 90 years old already. In my movie, at the end of the movie, you see him. He's a cowboy. And he's a very famous gambler. And he won every time. How? Because he knew statistically, if you have, and he told me this, if you have, I think it's either 30 or 35 people in a room, 2 people will have the same birthday. It's either 30 or 35 people in the same room, always you're going to find 2 people with the same birthday. So, when it comes to a number like that, we think 30 people, wow, what a coincidence. So surely if there's 100,000 people, surely out of those 100,000 people, 2 people should have the same fingerprint. No, they don't have the same fingerprint. Maybe similar, maybe, but it's not going to be the same. Same thing with DNA. You're never going to have 2 people with the same DNA. And we're not talking about 100,000 people. We're talking about 8 billion people. In fact, much more than 8 billion people. All the people that ever lived. And you're never going to have 2 with the same fingerprint. Never going to have 2 with the same DNA. Never. That, Rabotai, shows us the infinite ability of HaKadosh Baruch Hu when it came down to His creation. When we look at our fingers, we're thinking this is something simple. But it would literally be easier to invent an atomic bomb that doesn't blow up cities, but creates cities, than to figure out the fingerprint. Now, further, he says these fingers, Noach is the first one that got them, were further given a sense of touch, enabling them to differentiate between heat and cold, dryness and wetness, hardness and softness, everything in keeping with what is necessary for the ordinary progression of life. Now, you may not think that this is so much of a big deal. Okay, so you have a sense of touch, There's a very rare disease, and thank God it's rare, that some people have in the world, where they do not have their same sensors like you do, where their sensors don't work when it comes to pain. They don't feel pain. Now this may sound, for somebody like me, sounds like fantastic, sounds like Gan Eden. You don't feel pain? Wow, I want to be you. Until I realized what it means. What does it mean you don't feel pain? That means there was a little girl, I believe she was in Eretz Yisrael. Little girl, her hand was on top of the stove, an electric stove, on fire. She kept it on. She didn't know what was happening. Her skin was melting, but she felt no pain. She just didn't know what was happening. She's a little girl. That's why I say, thank God this disease is very rare. Because the people that have it are in life danger 24 hours a day. Because one of the greatest things that people don't notice is pain. Pain is a fantastic thing. One of the reasons is that it reminds you that you are alive. It reminds you that that section of your body is still alive. It's still operational. If there's no pain, that means that that body part died. Pain is a reminder that that place is still functioning. It's also a warning for something that potentially can be worse. If, for example, Chas v'Shalom, you cut yourself, if you don't feel the pain, you'll continue cutting. If you don't feel the pain, you'll continue cutting, and you can make the damage much, much worse. But if the second the knife, Chas v'Shalom, touches any body part, you feel the second it touches it, before it becomes some gash, you feel like the whole world just exploded. It's really only a little tiny gash. You're like flipping the knife, you're trying to break the whole kitchen. I can't believe it. It's like a little tiny little thing. Like your wife's like, what happened? Oh no, I stabbed myself. Where? You're showing us. Like, where? You're showing us. Where? A little tiny little speckle of blood is on your finger. You made a big deal out of it. But thank God you have that. Why? Because if you didn't have that pain, that seemed like it was Kriyat Yam Suf, Shem Elachem, you cut your whole finger. Cut your whole finger. And that, Rabotai, is a very different life to live. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu thought about this too. In your fingers, He put sensors that tell you when something is hot, when something is cold, when something is forbidden to you and dangerous, when something is not. Too hot is dangerous, too cold is dangerous. And a person that knows how to use their senses will stay away from danger. Now, the same thing goes when it comes to dryness and wetness. If you're trying to identify something in the dark, you're looking for a pair of glasses, but when you're looking, all of a sudden your fingers feel wet. And then you know that you put your hands inside of a coffee cup or something. It's not your glasses. This helps. Now, the Chazon Ish continues and says, what good is a human being if he has been granted eyes that see and hands that feel, but cannot move from his place? So the planner made man 2 legs, perfectly and expertly formed, so that he could walk on the ground. Now, I'm no doctor or expert in this field, but when I learned this, it's truly amazing. Where Rabbi Chaim explains, there's a sefer called Olam HaTarbut. In page 232, it discusses the muscles. And it says really the muscles are a unique creation of its own that no one can truly understand, because it's not solid and it's not liquid at all times. We think of muscles as like rubber bands, because that's what we learned in class. I remember when I took class in high school and in college, they showed muscle. They show you the body without skin, and it shows you like a bunch of things, like a piece of meat. It all looks like rubber bands and stuff like that, but that's not actually real. It's a picture. The real mechanics of your body are very, very different. The amount of muscles that you have is extraordinary, but how the muscles operate is even more extraordinary, because the muscles change state from something that is strong, that's solid, to something that's more liquidy, due to different hormones, due to different chemicals that are inside your body, where the second this chemical touches the muscle, it turns into solid. And then to soften it again, a different hormone, a different chemical touches it. Now, if you had to control it, you wouldn't be able to move. Why? It works too fast. So for example, if someone, for example, is walking around, all of a sudden somebody opens the door right in their face. What's the reaction? Instantly, you put your hand up. Now, you didn't think about putting your hand up, but your hand went up. If you fall, immediately your hand goes down to stop, to slow down your fall. You didn't think about, oh, I'm going to stop my fall because I don't want to get hurt, and I want to make my wife unhappy, and I don't. No, you didn't think about any of this stuff. You're just thinking, oh, and next thing you know, your hand is in the way, slowing down your fall. Now, in order for you to make that move, there were literally hundreds and hundreds of different mechanisms that had to take place, from your eyes seeing this, your brain calculating it, doing the mechanics not only to calculate it, but to release the appropriate hormones to make the certain body part move, but also making the muscles in that body part harder so you could absorb the fall. If the calculation is slowed by a millisecond, the whole thing fails. And instead of falling on your hand, you fall on your face. Or you simply break your hand. Now, the amount of hormones and different types of things that go into your body is unbelievable. And one of the scientists described that the mechanics of your knees is no different than an explosion itself. Because really what you have is two engines on your knees which are operating in two opposite directions. While one is stretching, the other one is contrasting. One leg is going forward, the other leg is contrasting, it's staying behind, but it has to bend. And there's literally explosions happening inside your muscles to make all of this happen. Now, when a person takes all of this into account, what is he to make out of this? Did the Chazon Ish try to make all of us biologists, chemists, gym teachers? What does he want us to do? Athletes? He says, look, every day in the morning in Birkot HaShachar, you say, Baruch Ata Hashem, Elokeinu Melech HaOlam, Amechin Mitzadei Gaver. Blessed you Hashem our God, King of the universe, who prepares the steps of man. What are you thinking when you say who prepares the steps of man? Most of the time about coffee that you're about to drink. Most of the time, I can't wait till I finish Birkot HaShachar so I can already get on with my day. Most of the time, nothing. Most of the time we think nothing. Most of the time it's like, oh yeah, I got to do it. Check, 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 check. Finish this one, finish this one. You know, it's like a checklist. I did a Shayatzar, I did a Tilat Yadayim, I did B'kot HaShachar, B'kot HaTorah. Check. It's like a check mark. That's what we do. It's a reality. It's embarrassing, but it's a reality. Check mark. I did it. Chazon Ish is trying to tell us, before you start your day, before you learn Torah, before you do mitzvot, do you know why you're even blessing Bichlal? Look at how much science has to go into the mechanics of your legs, the mechanics of your arms, your fingers, your eyes, your brain. We haven't even begun to talk about the brain. And then thank Hashem thank you for preparing the steps of man. Because in reality, your right knee, forget about your whole body, that's needless to say, your right knee, or your left knee, or your right hand, or your left hand, is simply a operating, fully functional lab. With different mechanics, different engines, different tests being made, different chemicals, getting together, being separated. I mean, the amount of chemicals that HaKadosh Baruch Hu implanted in your body just to make it functional is unbelievable. Now the question is, did he do all of that just so you could eat for 70, 80 years? Did he make your body so sophisticated, so complex, just so you could just eat some hamburgers? Maybe some pizza once in a while, hopefully not together? Did he just make that body so complicated so you could have a bunch of kids? That's it. Like, if he just wanted you to eat, why didn't he make you into a tube? A bucket, just throw food in there. Amma, go. Finished. What's the legs for? What's the hands for? What's the fingers for? Why do you need eyes? Just feed the thing and that's it. There are some creatures in the world that it seems like they don't have any eyes. They have different sensors. So, if they can live without eyes, why do we need eyes? They don't have any fingers. They don't have fingers. Surely we can live without fingers. They don't have any legs. They swim. They go like this all day. Why do we need legs? We just go like this all day. Why aren't you like an amoeba? Surely, if he created our body to be much more sophisticated than the amoeba, it's for a purpose. It's not just for eating. It's not just for mating. Surely these are different tools that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put more effort in, if you will, for us to serve Him in through those tools. That means that we have to find, in our lifetime, we have to find a way to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to justify the creation. If He gave you fingers, you have to justify, why did I deserve to have fingers for 70, 80, 90 years? What did I do with these fingers? Did I flip some pages and learn some Gemara, learn some Shulchan Aruch, learn some Chumash? Did I flip some poskim? Did I flip some pages? Or did I just flip the newspaper? Or just grab a hamburger? I was the fastest, fastest guy in a restaurant with the burger right to my mouth. Did He give me legs so I could just walk to the restaurant or walk to a Shiur Torah? And if I didn't have a right, I wasn't going. Because chas v'shalom that I would walk a half hour, an hour. Did He give me these different tools to serve Him or to serve myself? When we say the blessing of Mechim Mitzadei Gaver, that He prepares the steps of man, when you have a Jewish ideology, the right ashkafa, this is what we're supposed to be thinking of. Thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for preparing the steps of man and making my body into simply a living lab in order to serve you with each and every single part of it. My job is to find a way to serve you with each and every single part of it. And if I did not do it today, I will do it tomorrow. And if I didn't do it tomorrow, I'll do it the next day. But surely I'm going to die trying to serve you with every part of it. Why? If I don't, I am simply not only a failure, I'm an ungrateful failure. Now, the Gaon Mivilna, when he got sick, he was bedridden. They called the doctor, and he laughed. He says, "What does a doctor know about health? What does he know about the human health? What does he know about body? Are you going to bring him to help me? No, come on, he's an expert, he's the best known. Okay, bring him." So the doctor came to the Gaon Mivilna. And as he came, the Gaon was laying down, and he got up and he sat down. "How are you? How are you?" So the Gra says to him, "How many muscles did I use, and how many movements did my body have to operate in order for me to go from laying down to sitting down?" The doctor was dumbfounded. Repeat the question again. "How many?" "No, it's complicated." No, it's not complicated. "How many?" "Well, because this one is connected to that one, you could really say it's that one." He goes, "No, just tell me, what is it?" The guy couldn't, nothing. The Gaon Mivilna says, "And you want to cure me? You don't even know a simple question. We learned in the Gemara. Simple question you don't know. We learned in the Mishnah. Kita Aleph, first grade, I know it. We still don't know it. As I'm telling you, I don't know it. In first grade, he knew this answer. Why? Learn Torah. Learn Torah. You learn Torah, you learn everything. So, when a person understands how many miracles have to be done literally on a millisecond by millisecond basis in order for him or her to exist, it reminds them of their responsibility to the Creator. Because if you have yourself an 85-year-old professor come to you and tell you, "I've researched the sciences, I've researched the religions, and I've never seen God. I don't believe in God." This person is a dangerous person. And the Gemara says, such a person, an atheist, a person that's a heretic of that extent, you're not allowed to walk next to him at night. Why? Either he's crazy, he's a crazy person that is just a danger to society, or he's a danger to society because he has such extraordinary desires that are out of control that he refuses to believe in God. And that's why he makes such statements. And if he cannot control his desires, that means that alone at night, he's going to attack you. Such a person, the Gemara says, you're not allowed to walk next to him at night. Don't be next to him alone. Dangerous. To live an entire life and still say you don't believe in God makes you a dangerous person. If you're 15, 20 years old, 25 years old, all you learned in public school that you came from a monkey, it doesn't exactly make you a tzaddik, don't get me wrong, but if you show the person the facts, and the person is looking at the fact for what they are, he's unbiased and he's looking to learn, no problem. But if a person has gone through his entire life and still says he's an atheist, this person is a dangerous person. Because he either is mentally sick and a danger to society, or he is spiritually sick to the extent where he has such strong desires that he cannot control them, and therefore he cannot allow himself to believe in God. Now, the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin, page 90, at the end, 90b, has a conversation where the Caesar tells one of the Chachamim that what the Jews are saying in the Torah doesn't make sense to him. He says, you guys say in your Torah that there's going to be a resurrection of the dead. Is the dust alive? Because a person, everyone knows, at some point he's going to die. And he doesn't stay like that. Within a short period of time, the worms and maggots eat the body, and everything turns into dust, and that's it. So what is the dust that's left? Well, it's alive. That's going to go back to life. So this Caesar was very fortunate. He had a daughter that was much smarter than him. And she says to the Chacham, let me answer this one. She says to her father, I'll give you an example of what their belief is and what it is. It says, if we have two people, one guy creates tools out of water, and the other guy creates tools out of clay, which one is considered a much more special expert? The one that creates the tools from water, or the one that creates the tools from clay? So the Caesar says, of course, it's the one that creates the tools from water, not makes it into ice and cuts it. No. Just the water itself. He molds the water into something. Of course, that's who can do that? Because the clay needs the water. She says, that's exactly what he's saying to you. That's exactly what the Rabbi is saying to you. He says, you're thinking it's a big deal that the dust is going to turn into a living person. But their God, He creates not from the dust, from a piece of putrid seed, from a liquid. He creates the entire human being. Is taking dust and making it into a human being bigger than that? No, it's less. He turned a putrid seed into a human being. He's not going to be able to turn the dust into a human being, the bones into a human being. Sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends certain people that are clever and see the truth. And if they're clever enough, they abandon their own religion, they abandon their own falsehood, and they get closer to Hashem as a result. We'll finalize with this, Rabotai. The person that has this debate in their head of emunah during difficult times like we have right now. Am I going to have enough money? Am I going to find a wife now? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? People are having a lot of emunah issues right now. The Chachamim say this is really an embarrassment that you're going to deal with at some point. This lack of emunah is going to be an embarrassment for you at some point. Not having emunah in Hashem is going to be very embarrassing. Why? Imagine a boy. Chaim explains this in a mashal. Imagine a boy who's an orphan. Shem Erachem doesn't have parents. And his 5, 6, 7-year-old boy, his next door neighbor knocks on his door and he says, hey, how are you? Listen, from now on, I'll take care of all your needs. Anything you need, I'm going to take care of. Food, shelter, everything I'm going to pay for. So the boy says, well, what do I have to do? Nothing. Whatever you need, I'm going to take care of. From now on, everything's on me. So he takes care every day, he gives them food. Every day he takes care of the house. Every day. The next door neighbor, nicely enough, takes care of whatever he needs. Pays for his school, pays for his food, pays for clothes, pays for everything. Day after day, year after year, for 15 years. Eventually the boy grows up to be a man, and it's time for him to get married. He helps him find a kala. Introduces him one of his best friends. Here you go, is his daughter. Meets a beautiful woman, everything's good. Okay, you're gonna get married. Oh, you guys have to live somewhere. I got your house. Nice villa, beautiful house, brand new. Got him a vehicle, everything's good. Oh, how are we gonna get married? Don't worry, I got that taken care of. Also, is a wedding on this day, just show up. All you gotta do is show up. On the wedding day, This man, this young boy, turned into a man, gets to the wedding, he's there, he's excited, he's nervous, gonna get married, wow, 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 wow. But he starts thinking about things, and he starts getting stressed out, and he starts pacing down the hall, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So the neighbor, the guy's been taking care of him for 15 years, sees him stressed out, goes, what's wrong? What's wrong with you? No, nothing. Well, obviously something's wrong. Why are you pacing? No. It's okay. If you need something, tell me. I'll help you out. No, it's too much. It's too much for you. I can't. No, it's too much for you. It's too much. You can't do it for me. What is it? What is it? What do you need? No, it's just too much. I'll try to do it myself. And he goes back and forth, and he feels for him. He's like, come on, just tell me what it is. I'll help you out. It's just too much for you. I don't want to ask. Fine, too much, not too much. I've been helping you for 15 years. Let me try. Let me give it a shot at it. It wasn't too much to build a house. I got you the house. The car, the this, the everything else I did. 15 years. Okay, let me try this one. What is it? The orphan says to him, I'm used to every day I wake up, I have a towel next to my bed. And as soon as I wash my face, wash my hands, wash my face, I wipe my face in the towel. And it's the same towel. I forgot the towel in my old house and I don't know what to do. And I don't know how I'm going to go get the towel. Because I don't know how I'm going to deal with tomorrow. I'm going to wake up with this new wife and I don't have my towel. The next door neighbor sees you. You fool. This is too hard. 15 years I got you a house, got you the wedding, got you a kala, got you money, food, shelter, clothes, everything. It's too hard to get the towel. It's too hard. That's us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us muscles with chemicals in a lab inside our body. Gave us eyes that are balloons that should be on sale at Walmart for $1. To operate, to record everything. Hands with fingers in them that have all types of mechanics that are beyond our ability to even think of. Fingerprints and muscles and bones that do all types of things that we forget to even appreciate. Legs that allow us to go to different places. Arms that allow us to do different things. Wives, husbands, kids, house, everything. And what do we worry about? Oh Hashem, I don't have any money. When it comes to money, no, maybe I'm going to work on Shabbat. When it comes to zivug, maybe I'm going to marry a non-religious person. When it comes to all types of things, we sell out Hashem like nothing. No, it's too hard for Hashem to help me on this one. It wasn't too hard for Him to make you. It wasn't too hard for Him to grow you from a putrid seed. It wasn't too hard for Him to get you to be where you are today in the first place, to have a house, to have clothes, to have a spouse, to have all types of things. That wasn't too hard, but to get you to have a little bit of money to close the month, that's too hard for Him. When a person arrives at Shamayim, he's going to be embarrassed for such lack of emunah. Embarrassed. And that's why when a person understands what the right ideology is, he simply becomes embarrassed at himself for having a lack of emunah, and he forces himself to get it out of himself. Get it out of ourselves. How do I find emunah? Why? Because it doesn't make any sense not to have emunah. But I can't just say I believe and I really don't believe. So what do I got to do to get myself to have it? What do you need to do? Before you start complaining about all the things you need, count the birds you already have. Count the blessings you already have. Okay, you don't have XYZ. Fine. What about the first 25 letters? You have those? A, B, C, D, A, you have all those? Before you complain and cry and become hysterical about all the things you don't have and you feel like you need right now, what do you have? And I remember the first time I learned this from Rabbi Ephraim years ago, it would drive me crazy. Because I would tell him, I'm in pain, I'm losing money, my whole life's upside down, and his response is, but you have eyes though. I said, what? Your eyes work? He said, yeah. He goes, Baruch Hashem. Oh, I'm telling you, I just lost $1 million in the stock market today. He goes, do you know how much somebody would pay for one eye? You could sell your eye if you want. He goes, no, I don't want to sell my eye. He goes, oh, see, it's worth more than $1 million. And I didn't get it. What's my eye have to do with it? I just lost a bunch of money. It took me 8 years to understand this lesson. It could take you 2 minutes. If you count your bird, what do you have in your hand? Automatically the things you're crying about lose significance. Okay, so there's something I want, there's something I feel like I need. Maybe I really do need it. But what do I have? You start calculating all the stuff you have, you start feeling embarrassed. Because a lot of the stuff you have, you didn't even ask for, but you got it. Look how many things you have, you didn't even ask for it, but you got it already. And you got it exactly when you needed it. Automatic. Did you ever ask for air? You got it, didn't you? You ever asked for vision? You got it, didn't you? You've asked for all the things that you appreciate every single day. You got them. Now what are you going to say? Yeah, but if he didn't want to give it to me, why did he create me? That makes you a rasha. That makes you a wicked person, an ungrateful, wicked person. Why? Imagine having a kid, and you raise this kid, and he changes stinky diapers for a few years. And then after you finally finish changing him and feeding him and so on, send him to school and pay for school, an arm and a leg, and you have a second job just to pay for school. And you have all this, and you raise this kid, and the kid eventually goes 13, 14, 15 years old. And hey, Ima, give me some money. No, son, times are tough, coronavirus. I don't have any money to give you. No, give me some money. Hey, son, don't talk to me that way. Listen, Ima, if you're not going to give me some money, what's the point of you? What's the point of you? You're not going to give me some money. You chutzpan, that's how you talk to your Ima? What? I didn't ask you to make me. If you're already going to make me, you have to give me money, no? Is such a son a good son or a bad son? Do you want a son like that? Hashem Yishmor, I don't think you wish that on your enemies, such a son. The question is, are we that son? Are we that daughter to Hashem? Hashem, if you're not going to give it to me, why did you make me? If you're not going to give me a house, how come you made me? If you're not going to give me this, how come you made me? How many times do we think that? We wanted something, Hashem didn't give it to us, and we're already starting to complain to Hashem, if you're not going to give it to me, why did you make me? That's the embarrassment we're going to deal with in Shamayim if we don't do tshuva. We go up to Shamayim and Hashem is going to say, you asked me, how come I made you? Because I didn't give you such and such. How come you didn't have the same calculation about, oh Hashem, thank you for making me because you gave me such and such? How come you didn't have the opposite calculation? A few people came to Rav Eisel Harif, one of the Chachamim at the time of the Shoah, the Holocaust. He said, Kvod Rav, it says at the end of Masechet Ketubot that you're not really supposed to push for the Geulah, for the salvation to come. Hashem's going to bring it when He brings it. So is it right to really ask for Mashiach? So Rav Eisel Harif got upset at them. He says to them, I don't understand. In your Amidah that you pray every day, 3 times a day, on one prayer you ask for Parnasah. The next prayer you ask for Refuah Shlema. And then the next one, the next blessing, you ask for Geulah, you ask for the Mashiach. How come you didn't have a problem asking for Parnasah, to press it, and not wait for Hashem to just give it to you? How come when it came to health, you didn't have a problem pressing for Hashem to give you a Refuah Shlema now and not just wait for Him? But when it finally came time for salvation for the entire people, and for Hashem's name to be glorified, now you're having questions, you're having doubts. Oh, maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. How come only that one you have a problem with? When it came to your own self-interest, No problem pushing Hashem, give me now, give me money now, give me good health now, give me. But when it came for the salvation of the nation, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name to be glorified, all of a sudden you have questions. That is all of us at different times when our ideology is confused between what it's supposed to be and what sometimes the Yetzer Hara influences us to have. They both look the same, they both have a similar address, they both even have similar names. But one is from the Satan and one is from the Torah. The goal is for us to make sure that whatever we think has a source in the Torah that validates it. That says what I think is correct. That's why it's the nature of a Jew that's learned not to look obsessively for his own insights in the Torah, but rather to find what the sages said and see if they match with what he thought. And say, Baruch shekivanti. Many people obsess over finding chidushim. They want to find their own insights in the Torah. They want to find it sometimes so much they ignore what the sages say altogether, and they start inventing completely new things that are foreign to Judaism altogether. This is a mistake. First, you have to become an expert in what was already said and what was already validated. Then you see if you can develop your new insight from that can also be validated by the original foundation. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to have your own original thought and think this is good. But when you do have an original thought, what are you supposed to do? Look for another chacham that agrees with you. And I don't mean a chacham in your own kollel. A chacham that's in the Torah, in the Gemara, in the poskim, in the midrashim, and so on. Why? Because you want to know that whatever is in your mind, your ideology, your thought process, is in line with what was already validated. And to say Baruch shekivanti means blessed am I that I aimed in the right direction. Why? The direction that's already the foundation of Judaism, that's the right direction. There is no right direction that's foreign to what the foundation is. And you'll notice that a lot of the people that have their own weird things that they say, whether it's the Drors of the world or the Manases of the world or some other clowns that are out there, they never mention any sources. They never mention any sources. Why? They don't want the sources. They want new ways, new approaches, new wave. That's a mistake. Our foundation is as good as it's ever been. It'll never be different than that. We have to focus on the foundation because that's the only thing that we can validate for sure, and it's 100% emet. If you never have one single new insight in your life, and all you focus on is what the sages said, you are blessed. If you have new insights that are that are matching and coinciding and can coexist with what the sages said, great. But don't focus so much on that. Focus on being an expert in the foundation. And I promise you, when you focus so much on the foundation, you will get new insights, naturally, that are good. Why? Because the foundation that you have will be good. This is not just in learning Torah, but also in your mentality of how to apply this Torah to your life. Your day-to-day life. You won't always necessarily have to go to the book to check whether to buy this or to buy that, because your ideology will be in such a way that you're already going to be thinking yashar. You're going to be thinking straight, because your foundation is solid. This, Rabotai, is easy and difficult at the same time. It's easy because the instructions are clear. It's difficult because it requires you to swallow your ego regularly and act as if you're a brand new, first grade student every single day for the rest of your life. Every day. That requires a lot of power. Why? Because you have to swallow your ego. Because you feel like you're a grown man, you're a grown woman, you already know, you've been religious for X amount of years, I should know this by now. You don't know nothing. Ya'alef Bet, your first grade. That's what you gotta think. You have to ask the rabbi. He knows. Yeah, but he reads a book and I read a book. Yeah, you can read a book and he reads a book and it'll never be the same. Why? He's the rabbi, you're not. Yeah, but I'm a rabbi also, but he's your rabbi, which means he knows more. You could be a big rabbi, and if you have a rabbi, he's bigger than you. Why? That's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes it. That requires you to swallow your ego. And I tell this to myself all the time. It's funny for me, because for me it's a big tikkun, because I'm used to being a boss. I don't ask anybody for anything. But when it comes to day-to-day life, when it comes to everything, fine, do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do this? Do I do that? Yes? No? Yeah. Basic questions. My wife says, wait, you asked him that? I'm like, yeah. He goes, why? Because I have to know. But you couldn't figure it out yourself? No, I need permission. I need permission to do this. I need permission to do a shiur. I need permission to do everything. Mr. Boss Man, $50 million. I need permission. Why? That's the way it is. That's the way it is. If you think you're the boss, you're nothing. You have to ask. Permission for everything. Validation for everything. That's the way of the Torah. All of these people that try to be superheroes, these rogue warriors, these people that are like, try to be innovative and new, you'll see them eventually go into such different ways, they become a small little version of Christianity. And that's what's happening with a lot of people. They're uncovering their masks. You see them little by little. One clown after another. Their own new wave of ideology. One after another. And you see HaKadosh Baruch Hu is making them as separate as possible, that it's clear that if you listen to this person, you watch this person, you read this person's book and so on, it's a different religion. Call himself Jewish as much as he wants, different religion. Keep up bigger than the sky, different religion. Why? New. Doesn't match the old. Our people need the old fashion. The old fashion is the best fashion. Never goes away. Never goes out of style. I want the same fashion as Moshe Rabbeinu. I want the same fashion as Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkinos. That's who I want. I want Rabbi Ovadiah's fashion. I want Rabbi Yonatan Eibish's fashion. That's what I want. I don't want the fashion of some clown that decided to make a new wave, to disagree with all the sages. Jewish ideology, Rabotai Yekarim, is one of those things that you have to make sure you have it down right. Because once your ideology is good, it's a solid foundation, you can build a lot off of that foundation. But if the ideology is rotten, everything you build on top of it will be either rotten or unstable. So to have the right mentality is very, very valuable. And that's why, Rabotai, many of the Chachamim, when they ask certain questions, sometimes we don't even understand why this is a question. Sometimes we don't understand why the answer is the answer. And I'll give you one example and then we'll finish off for the night. Rabbeinu Yonah, alav shalom, was, I believe, the nephew of the Ramban, 800 years ago. And in his famous Sefer, Sharei Tshuva, he has a section in the third gate that says something that to the average person does not make sense. He is describing different types of people that lose Olam Haba. Now this Sefer, anyone that reads it simply develops Yirat Shamayim or goes to the crazy house, one or the other. Either you have Yirat Shamayim at the end of the Sefer, or really within the first 5 pages, or you just go to the crazy house because you're simply an atheist. Because you have to have Yirat Shamayim reading this. Now, sometimes you have to go over the same page a few times to understand what's going on, because it's really deep stuff, but the same token, it's very simple when he explains it. So I'll give you an example. In the third gate, he says something that happens every single day, unfortunately. A guy that has a few dollars, doesn't have to be rich, but he's okay, makes fun of a poor person. Now all of us can agree that the guy that has the money, that's making fun of a poor person, is a nasty person. All of us can agree. Whether you're Jew or Gentile, whether you learn Torah or not, you could agree that this person is a nasty person, is a mean person. But why is Rabbeinu Yonah calling this person a kufel? Meaning this guy is like an atheist. The guy that's making fun of the poor person, he's like an atheist. He has no olam haba. Where's the mindset there? What does him making fun of some poor guy have to do with atheism? Okay, so he made fun of him because he's dyslexic, or he is missing some eye, he's missing an arm, he doesn't have any money, he doesn't have the job. Okay, so he's making fun of him. This unfortunately happens all the time. What does that connect him to being an atheist, though? And Rabbeinu Yonah is making it halakha. This is it. He says this guy's an atheist. Why? He says, look at the mechanics of this. Logic that this Rasha has, this wicked person has. What are the mechanics? He's making fun of somebody that doesn't have any. Which means what? Which means that he thinks, this wicked person thinks, that he doesn't have any while he himself has, because of their abilities. He thinks he has money because he's clever and he's smart and he's skilled. So he thinks he made the money because he has good timing and intellect and so on, and that's why he has money. And he thinks the guy doesn't have money, doesn't have anything, because he has bad fortune and he has bad luck and he has bad timing and he's missing an eye and he's missing a leg, and that's why he doesn't have any. He is an atheist. Why? He thinks that money, that success comes from abilities. That makes him an atheist. That makes him a heretic. Why? Because your success is not in your hands. It's only in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hands. To think that your success or failure is a result of your skills is a form of heresy, Rabbeinu Yonah says. It's 100% heretical to think that it's your ability that is generating success or failure. That is Jewish ideology at its purest. We thought he's mean. That's logical. A horse knows he's mean. But to be a Jew, you have to know deeper than that. It's not mean that Hashem cares about. It's the heresy that Hashem cares about. He's not going to make somebody lose Olam Haba and go to Gehenom permanently because he's mean. But he will send somebody to Gehenom permanently if that person is an atheist, if that person is a heretic, and thinks that his success or failure is in his own hands. Kochi ve'otzim yadi, my hand, my power, is what got me this wealth. HaKadosh Baruch Hu writes in Parashat Ekev, this is one of the things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not forgive. Does not forgive this. Never for a second think that your success or your failure is in your ability. You could pray for Hashem to help you. You could pray for Hashem to change the situation. You could pray for a lot of things. But never think for a second that if you did such and such, that's the reason why such and such happened. Your ability is what Hashem gave you. You try to use whatever Hashem gave you to do your best. The success, though, Hashem decides. Has nothing to do with your ability. Has nothing to do with your ability. And that's why I tell you guys a famous story. Was a Gabbai who didn't know how to read or write, and after years of being at the Beit Knesset, they wanted to raise more money. They told the guy, listen, we have to let you go because we want to update our technology and you don't know how to use technology. So this poor Gabbai was out of a job, didn't have any skills. So he went into the market looking for something new. So he saw some guy selling tools. He says, I know a few things about tools. Let me buy some tools from you. So he bought some tools and he sold them. He made a few dollars. And he went back to the same guy and he bought them tools and he sold them. And little by little he started flipping tools. And before you know it, he had a company manufacturing tools. After a few years, he made his largest order ever. He ordered $10 million worth of tools from China. On the day the shipment, the container came with all the tools, the guy came with the contract. Here you go, his delivery of the goods, give us the money. And sign over here. He says, here's the money, here's the check. And he takes a little stamp, puts his fingerprint on it, and puts it on the paper as a signature. The guy from China says, what is this? He goes, my signature. What signature is this? No, we need your name. Sign your name. He goes, no, it's my signature. He goes, sir, please, stop making a mockery out of this. If this check you're giving me bounces, I need to make sure that this is you, it's your signature. He goes, this is my signature. He goes, what kind of signature is this? He goes, that's how I sign. He goes, what, can you at least write your name? He goes, no, I can't write my name, it's my signature. He goes, why not? Why can't you write your name? What's the big deal? He goes, I don't know how to write. And I don't know how to read. The Chinese guy starts laughing. He says, ha! Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look, you're making a $10 million purchase and you don't even know how to read and write. Imagine how much more money you would make if you knew how to read and write. He says, you Chinese fool. If I knew how to read and write, I'd still be a Gabbai making $250 a week at the Beit Knesset. Your success, Rabotai Karim, has nothing to do with your skills. Your failure doesn't either. That's where we have to go to Hashem. And Hashem toiled, if you will, to make your body so sophisticated, your muscles so sophisticated, your vision so sophisticated, your whole mechanics, the feelings you have, the hormones you have, the desires you have, everything that you have so sophisticated, so you could recognize that He didn't make you just for you to utilize that one skill and think that's what's generating you the results. It's the opposite. It is so sophisticated to remind you that there has to be a greater reason for why you are alive in this world. Much more than just this skill. The success, the destination, that's only determined by the Creator Himself. You are responsible for the effort. Use those tools that Hashem gave you in order to serve Him to the best you possibly can, according to His instructions and not yours. If you do that, I promise you that the destination will be much better than you can get yourself on. Be'ezrat Hashem, this will get us even closer to the right ideology, to the right destination, to get us, our people, our friends, our family, and all of Klal Yisrael and the rest of the world that wants to know God, to the right destination that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has designated for each and every single one of us. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.